Okay, so the I Ching, right. I have to admit, I always thought it was, like fortune-telling stuff. But getting ready for this deep dive, I realized, wow, I had no idea.
It's easy to dismiss it as some dusty old book,
Right.
but it's been around for centuries. This is the I Ching we're talking about, the Book of Changes, like a whole system of wisdom.
It's not exactly a new fad.
No, not at all. It goes way back, like all the way to the Zhao dynasty in China. Talk about standing the test of time.
Seriously. And that's what got me thinking, how is something so ancient relevant today? We're using this website. What is the I Ching Life's GPS as our starting point for this deep dive? And they call it Life's GPS, which I thought was kind of a stretch at first.
Yeah, bit of a marketing gimmick, maybe.
Yeah, but now I'm not so sure. But before we get all philosophical, let's break down the basics for anyone who's not familiar.
Definitely. So at the core, you've got these 64 hexagrams. Picture them as these combinations of 6 lines. And these aren't just random lines. They can be broken or unbroken. And they represent, the interplay of yin and yang energies.
Okay, yin and yang. I feel like everyone's seen that symbol, but what does it actually mean in this context?
It's all about balance, right? The balance of opposites in the universe. Light and dark, active and receptive, even pushing forward and yielding.
Okay, so it's not just about good vibes only.
Not at all. Like, think about breathing. You need both the inhale and the exhale, right? The I Ching is about understanding how those opposing forces work together.
Interesting. So how do the hexagrams actually work? Like, how do you use them?
Traditionally, people would use things like yarrow sticks or coins to kind of randomly generate a hexagram.
So that's where the whole fortune-telling thing comes in.
Right, but it wasn't just like flipping a coin for a yes or no answer. It was about seeking guidance.
Okay, so the hexagram gives you insights, but the website says it's way more than just predicting the future.
Exactly. Each hexagram, it's like a gateway into deeper philosophical thought. I mean, we're talking connections to Confucianism and Taoism here.
Whoa, that's a lot more than I expected. The website also mentioned the I Ching, encouraging balance, adaptability, self-awareness. It's like, who couldn't use more of that in their life, right?
For sure. And I think that's what makes it so relevant even today. It's about finding that equilibrium within so you can handle whatever life throws at you.
Instead of looking for answers externally.
Exactly. It's not about rigid answers. It's about understanding the patterns of change, like that ebb and flow of yin and yang, and applying that wisdom to your own life.
What I'm finding mind-blowing is that this isn't some obscure thing. This text, which originated in China probably thousands of years ago, has had a global impact. Like, the website even calls it Life's GPS, which at first I thought was a bit much, but now...
Well, it does say life's GPS, and it kind of makes sense in a way. Like, it's not going to give you turn-by-turn directions, but it gives you a framework for understanding where you are. In the grand scheme of things, the I Ching has been translated into so many languages and studied by, philosophers, obviously, but also like artists, even business leaders. I think the website mentions Carl Jung, the psychologist. He was a huge fan.
Oh, Young.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I never would have pictured him as an I Ching person. I wonder what it was about this ancient text that really drew him in.
So Jung, he was really into this idea of synchronicity, right? Those moments that seem totally random, like pure chance, but they feel super meaningful, like running into a friend exactly when you need their advice, even though you haven't seen them in forever.
Oh, totally. Like those weird coincidences that make you wonder.
Exactly. And Jung, he saw a connection between that and how the I Ching gets us to pay attention to patterns in our lives, the potential for change, how to make choices that align with like the natural flow of things. It's not so much about seeing the future as it is understanding that we're part of something much bigger than ourselves.
Now that you mention it, something like that actually happened to me recently. I was like totally stuck in a rut with my work, and I bumped into a former colleague completely out of the blue, and they had this job lead that was like perfect for me. At the time, I just thought it was a crazy luck, but maybe Jung would say there was like synchronicity in action.
See, it's about recognizing those moments, those little nudges from the universe.
Okay, so this is what I'm trying to wrap my head around. How does something so old help us grow, like as people today? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the idea of ancient wisdom, but there's so much out there already. Self-help books, podcasts, apps, you name it. How is the I Ching relevant to our modern lives?
Yeah.
It's a good question. And I think a big part of it is the I Ching encourages introspection, which honestly is something we don't do enough of these days. Our world is so fast-paced, so connected constantly, Think about it. When was the last time you just like slowed down,
Yeah.
tuned out all the noise, and just sat with your own thoughts?
Honestly, probably not recently enough. I'm definitely guilty of getting caught up in the whirlwind. To-do lists, notifications, all that.
Exactly. And that's where the I Ching comes in. It's not about quick fixes or like instant gratification. It's about cultivating self-awareness. When you really engage with it, you're forced to slow down, to reflect on your situation, on your motivations, and really listen to that inner voice.
So it's like instead of giving you all the answers, it's giving you the tools to find those answers within yourself. It's 8. Exactly. It's about understanding where you are on the map, figuring out your own internal compass, and then, navigating from that place of self-awareness. And the funny thing is, technology is actually making this ancient wisdom more accessible than ever. The website even mentions a Life's GPS I Ching app.
A life's GPS app, that's kind of amazing
Yes.
and hilarious at the same time. Talk about your ancient wisdom meets the 21st century. But you know what? Going through all of this, I'm starting to see how the I Ching has stayed relevant across cultures and across like millennia. It's pretty incredible when you think about it. It really is pretty amazing when you think about it, huh? We started out like, what even I see I Ching, and
Yeah.
now at least I can say I get it. It's not just some fortune cookie wisdom. It's way deeper than that.
It really is. Like, it's not about easy answers, but it gives you this whole framework for understanding the world, your place in it. You're not just being, tossed around by fate. You have some agency here.
Right. Like we talked about, the 64 hexagrams, yin and yang, all that. That's a lot to process.
It is.
Yeah.
But it all kind of comes together,
Yeah, it does. And to think, all this originated in ancient China, but it's still relevant today. It's kind of mind-blowing, honestly.
Totally. It's like it encourages you to look inward, embrace change, see how everything's connected.
It's like the I Ching is giving us these new lenses to see the world through. Not about that quick fix, but asking the right questions. And then trusting, that inner wisdom.
And for anyone listening who's feeling like inspired to learn more, check out that website. What is the I Ching Life's GPS? It's got tons of info, even that app we talked about.
Ancient wisdom meets the App Store? Who knew? But until next time, keep those minds open, keep exploring, and maybe the I Ching will reveal some of its secrets to you.